Good afternoon, traders. It's 4:45 on Tuesday. Hope everyone made a lot of money in the markets today. In this video, I'm going to be going over more of stock talk than commodities due to the commodities not making large moves this week. Okay, so starting off with the S&P 500 futures. This trend line that we have from 2 weeks ago runs right into the 1316 level, which you guys need to draw on your charts right now. This is the key level that everyone needs to be watching going into tomorrow's trading session. Our levels have switched up a little bit due to the bulls regaining control. On the backs of consumer confidence index rising along with pending home sales and the Fed revising the GDP up to 3.1% than 3%. Durable goods orders were a little shy along with personal income, but that didn't seem to matter today. Also, the S&P downgraded Portugal and Greece, saying that there's more financial burdens going into 2012 and 2013. Abercrombie came out today saying that there's problems in Japan. They're pretty worried about it. So we have negative news coming out every single day in Japan. I was watching last night the TEPCO stock, which is a huge energy player in Japan, one of the largest. Their profits are over $360 billion a year. More negative news on them. So this is clearly government buying bonds and people that have missed out on this entire rally trying to get back in it on every single dip. When we bounced off the 1300, we had to get long. How we trade, guys, is if we would have broke 1300, pulled back, that's when we would have taken our short, look for the 1296. But that didn't happen. So even though we have all that negative news, Home Depot came out today and they said that they're planning to repurchase shares, $1 billion worth to be exact, from a $2 billion note issuance that they've had. And that's what caused a lot of the short squeeze in the retail sector. So our levels tomorrow will be 1316 for an inflection point. We're going to trade this to the long side up to 1325, which is your R1. Your S1 will be 1312, and then your S2 will be 1300. I don't see us trading out of this range tomorrow. As for the daily chart of the S&P, the trend line from the high of 1343 connected to the prior highs that's been descending is where we're trading right now. We've confronted it and now they're trying to pull it above it. So tomorrow, if we pull back here, get below the 1312, maybe we could get back down to the 50 and the 20. Now we're looking at Apollo, symbol APOL. Guys, did I nail it? From being short from 43.30, covering this morning right when we opened at 38.30. That's pretty impressive. I deserve props on this one. I was super excited. Yesterday I bought the Apollo 42 put at $1.50, which was right at 11.55. And then I sold it this morning at $3.50. So that's a 2-point move. I made $200 on that trade and it was very successful. I kind of wish I would have bought more contracts, but I'm not being greedy here, guys. That's just another good trade to go on my track record. In yesterday's video, I also noted that if Apple got below 351.94, we're going to look to approach this 346.29 level. Those were my exact words, and we nailed this trade. Buying it off of the open and selling it into the 348 half level. It did get up to 350.96, almost 351, but again, we're not being greedy. All right, so now this is another interesting point for Apple. The NASDAQ managed to rally 26 points with really no confirmation from Apple and another of the majority big players. So tomorrow we're going to watch 350. We're above yesterday's close, and that's even more bullish. If we get back above our 351.94 level, we're going to look to approach 354 and 356. So this morning the NASDAQ was pretty much up throughout the day, and looking at Google here, it really surprised me today, irking out a 6-point gain. When they sold it off of the high from 585 all the way to 573, I didn't know what was going to happen next, and then they ran it all the way up above 579 to hold it at 581. If the markets do raise tomorrow and the S&P hits 1325, I guarantee you that Google will get back up to 585 due to the fact that markets usually correlate with each other. RIM managed to pop 1 point, which also helped out the NASDAQ. Oracle had more buying. Also, they're buying calls on Oracle. You might want to look for that. They did beat on earnings. Huge gap up above 32.75. Look to get long. Oracle should go up tomorrow. Qualcomm, another NASDAQ stock, had huge buying over this 52.85 level, got all the way up to 54. Not a lot of people talk about Qualcomm, and they don't know that it's a heavy weight in the NASDAQ 100, but we also like Qualcomm. Looking at it from a 1 hour chart, this level is going to be pretty significant tomorrow, this 54. So if we surpass that, next move is going to be up to 55, then 55.26. Alright, so the answer is yes, I did sell out of my FFIV position yesterday, and I was not patient, and I didn't even trade it today. We got over the 96.47 level that we've been watching. Look how many times we traded off of it. This is just the last 3 days, only a 5-minute chart, and it actually rallied $1.50 off that level. So I bit the bullet on that. I'm not proud of it, but I still managed to make a profit. As for ACAM, I got a little greedy on this position. I had my chance to sell it at the 39.30, but I ended up selling it at 38, and my target was 39.50. That's why I'm saying I got greedy, and I took it off the table yesterday, so I don't plan on re-entering this position. It could go back down to 37 or 36.67 with little or no effort from the bears. First Solar, I did trade First Solar today. I was looking at it over the weekend, and then they gapped it up Monday, so I really wasn't interested. Then I saw it today come back to the 152.52 area where I had an alert. They tagged that, got back above the 50 at 153.54. That caught my interest, and then I saw them consolidate it right here. I was looking for a higher move because it was over the 154.59. And look at this, guys, they really didn't even bring it below that level before rallying it all the way up to 157.82. We sold it right here at our pivot at 156.54, but you saw the continuous flag patterns in the stock today. It was beautiful. Next, we're looking at RIG from a daily chart. I drew a little drawing here. It was the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. I posted this on my channel last night. This is what we've been watching. We still have a chance to hold below this 81.5 level and fulfill this right shoulder down to the 76 area. But we're just going to take it for what it is. 80.44 is where the 50 is on the daily chart. With the move over that, we're going to look to start getting more bullish on this. And if we hold over 81.5, then disregard the head and shoulders pattern. But this will be on our radar. Lululemon was one of the stocks that I highlighted yesterday that had heavy call activity, and they managed to finish up almost 4 points today, about 4.5%, over 87.35. It was a long, it still is a long. Use 87.35 as your support level if you're looking to get long this. I think that there's a good chance if the market continues to move up, 93.40 will be the target that's hit. ExxonMobil had really good news today. Argus, the analysts, came out and they said that their new price target is $7.25 a share compared to $6.30, which was the prior estimate. That's a pretty big gain, 95 cents. They think they're going to beat that much because of crude oil prices going up. Another major headline would be Johnson & Johnson recalling more Tylenol. If my life depended on it, I would not take any Tylenol. It's so bad for your liver. My girlfriend's actually in school to be a RN. My sister is an RN, and they make you study all about the liver, and it shows how bad it really is for you. So the puts are 19,000 compared to 6,000 calls. This one definitely could go down tomorrow. Top 5 stocks with option activity for tomorrow. Number 1, VHC, 14,000 calls versus 3,000 puts. I don't know what they do, but they're almost at a 52-week high. They've ran up from 2 weeks ago at 1263 to 1974. But they pulled back at the 1979. If we can't hold above 1979 tomorrow, this one will be on my radar to take a short back down to 1792. I'm actually going to set my alert on that right now. Sohu, 13,000 calls, 3,000 puts, another 52-week high today. I'd set an alert at 90.48. If they pull back to that, maybe you could take another trade technically to a move higher. FXY, which is a Japanese yen trust ETF. I never used to follow these until I profited off the YCS, just watching the option activity, and then the next day they came in with the intervention. But you see 28,000 puts compared to 630 calls, guys. Open interest was 101,000 puts compared to 24,000 calls. And we've sold off. Maybe they're looking for a move back down to 117.96. Dendrion, 28,000 calls, 9,000 puts. Looking at the daily chart here, and this is the pure definition of a bearish chart. Every single moving average is declining perfectly, but there's some positive news on it. So 34, we broke through that. 35, 36, we pulled back a little bit when we got up to the 200-day moving average. So just keep playing these moving averages if you like this stock. I know they have some good news on it, and you see increased volume during this little up move here. Maybe the stock could show some resiliency to hold this 35 level and then get a boost up even higher. Schlumberger did have 32,000 calls versus 20,000 puts, almost up to the 52-week high. You know, a lot of this has to do with window dressing going into the end of the quarter. Stocks that have been proven strong for some funds, they're just going to look to keep putting money in the same direction. And then after the first, things usually start to weigh down a little bit. But look for a long in Schlumberger tomorrow if we get past the prior high today, which was at 94.69. And last one, Halliburton. This stock has links to Dick Cheney. I don't see it going down anytime soon. New 52-week high today. Got past the old 48.84 resistance level. 26,000 calls, 16,000 puts. I like this for a long over today's high. I will set my alert. And that is it. Good luck, traders. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.